So I just had a couple thoughts. I think if you are a theater company and you are particularly inviting a critic to come in and review your show, I think it is worth taking a second with your cast and saying, okay, how do we respond if we get a negative review? How do we process this? I get it. It's gotta suck. You work really hard and you get negative feedback. It's gotta be hard. I get it. But it is part of creating art, is that some people don't like that art. And especially if you have invited the critic to come in and review your show, then I think it's worth taking a few minutes with your cast and being like, okay, how do we process this? And then if you're an actor or involved in theater, I think it's worth having a bit of a game plan. If you know that a critic is coming to review your show, then how am I going to respond if they don't like it or they are outright mean? Like, especially if you want this to be some kind of career or even a part-time career or something like that, like you need to have that as a skill. And I'm not absolving critics when they go overboard, when they're unkind unnecessarily. We can all do better. But nevertheless, I have plans. I get horrible things said about me, about my podcast, and people saying that my voice is like nails on a chalkboard, and that, I've had really mean things said to me, and you know what? That's just the risk you take for me. I just think it's worth having a plan. Okay, how am I going to emotionally process this, especially with social media, which can get you into so much trouble. And how am I going to work with the press and deal with the press? And, that's just, I think it's good to have a plan, both as a company perspective, but also as an individual perspective. I know that's something I think about. And not all criticism is something that has to be negative. Sometimes I get feedback on my podcast, people were saying the advertisements were too loud. And so I've been working really hard to try to fix that. And I can only fix it so much, but I try my best to increase the sound on the pod so that the ads are about the same sound. Things like that. I can improve because of the criticisms that I get. So that's something to think about too. If you don't think that your cast can handle having a critic to review your community theater, then don't have them review it. It's not a required thing. But I still think even then, even if you don't have anybody, there's still going to be people reacting on social media, people talking about it. I mean, a lot of the shows that I see, I'm just there as a patron. I'm not actually reviewing the show, but I have every right as a patron to post a reaction to how I felt. And I try to be as constructive and kind as possible, but my positive opinions don't mean anything if I never have any negative opinions. If I just love everything, then I think that's vapid and meaningless. So, you try your hardest to give reactions, but like I said, it's just part of living in this space, I think. Anyway, that's just some thoughts as a critic who saw and reviewed over 170 shows last year. Just some things I've learned along the way. I hope that's helpful. I just think it's always good to have a game plan of how am I going to process this? How am I going to deal with it? And then, kind of go from there. It's always good to have plans in life. Hope you're all having a great day. Bye.